Once, Gubei was the leader of an elite unit of warriors from the state of Qi. But his squad was ambushed, nearly all of his comrades were killed, and Gubei himself lost his sight. 5 years later, he lives the life of an ordinary beggar, though his hearing has sharpened to the point where he can navigate the world no worse than the sighted. After witnessing a massacre in which the entire family of a young woman named Lan Qiao is slaughtered, Gubei saves her and intends to leave, but the girl begs him to help her find the killers and bring them to justice. Any film about a blind swordsman is doomed to be compared to the immortal Japanese Zatoichi series, but that doesn't mean the battle is lost before it begins. Americans added Hollywood sentiment and the wonderful Rutger Hauer to the formula and made the cult classic Blind Fury. Chinese filmmakers cast Zi Miao in the lead and created Blind Sword, which many fans of Eastern action cinema would likely place among the top 10 sword-fighting movies of recent years. Derivativeness is not a death sentence. The real question is whether you have anything to add to what's already been said. Unfortunately, the creators of Blind Murder, despite having no fewer than 3 directors, don't really have much to say. Their film is a maximally standardized execution of the Blind Swordmaster Restores Justice formula, showing neither novelty, nor depth, nor sincerity. It's a movie that does nothing to justify its own existence, and exists solely because the assembly line of Chinese online cinema must not be allowed to stop. The main thing is to keep shooting. What exactly gets made is a secondary concern. To be fair, Blind Murder can't be called a hack job. Yes, its creators made no attempt to look for new narrative moves or unusual angles, but they soberly assessed what kind of movie they were making and why people would watch it. As a result, the film features some fairly decent sword fighting scenes and generally brutal, hard-hitting action, though not as much as one might hope. The modest budget didn't allow the plot to be stuffed with non-stop action, so the fights are relatively short, and for the most part the characters prefer to talk to each other or simply strike stylish poses. Stylish posing, by the way, plays a special role here. Assuming they could give the film a distinctive face by adding a touch of otter flair, the filmmakers decided that for extra visual beauty it would almost constantly be snowing on screen. Unfortunately, this looks rather forced and artificial, especially when paired with green trees and grass in the background. Still, they almost managed to create the atmosphere of a harsh, purely masculine wuxia action film, populated by heroes so cool they can practically kill with a glance. At the very least, Wang Hui in the lead role has a strong physical presence, and overall Blind Murder doesn't provoke outright rejection and goes down fairly easily, helped by the fact that its runtime doesn't exceed 80 minutes. But whether it's worth giving this film 80 minutes of your life just because there are plenty of far more talentless ways to kill time, that's another question entirely.